Everybody's out. Okay.
I love that.
I have a timer right here. So okay, let me click that.
And then for the questions we might have, do you want to do like a round robin? Like we
Each get a question in.
Yeah, because I mean I have a few, but I'm probably going to ask the same question each time.
Right. Interview questions are interview questions. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all ready to start? Or do
Yeah, let's do
so
it.
we want to go in order, like Tiffany, you first, then
Okay.
I'll anchor, and then so when I'm last, the next question will come from Tiffany.
Okay. That works.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna let Bridget in. Hey, Bridget. Am I the only one who doesn't see Bridget or hear?
Yeah, no, I don't hear or see her either.
Okay.
Yeah, I just see a photo.
There we go.
Oh,
and
hey.
I'm not sure why only my photo is showing because I don't have an there we go. Got it.
Come on, process. We got
Work,
that.
Working on that iPad. Wish it was a laptop, but it's an iPad nonetheless.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
That's good. I'm good. Everybody?
Yeah,
we're good. I'm good.
We're going to jump right in if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So really quick, a question. What is like the most interesting thing about you that we wouldn't find out by just looking at your resume?
The most interesting thing about me that you wouldn't, that as serious as I look, I'm a clown. I'm a total clown. As serious as I am, I love humor and we'll bowl over at some good comedy. And people usually can't tell that by my demeanor. So.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Love that. What are you reading or watching right now that's like really impacting how you're like moving through the world?
Well, I am still recovering from my 21 credit semester, 33 years after my initial enrollment at Howard. So let me be quite frank. I have been trying to watch Citadel for the last 2 weeks and have not managed to. I don't know why I can't stay awake, but and total transparency. I have started 1609. I ordered, but I haven't even cracked the book. So I'm going to stop that right there and save myself.
And real quick, and since your position that we're looking at is a human resource position,
Yes.
Have you ever had to build a team around a project that you personally been working on?
Yes, I have. Most recently, in the current position that I am in, I came to the organization that was surveyed as being extremely divisive, a lot of employee dissatisfaction, and they were operating on an outdated culture. So I created what is now known as the CRTC, which means Culture and Recognition Transformation Collaborative. It is a group of employees from different departments throughout the organization, extremely diverse in every category, and they have been put in charge to survey their teammates about what they want the organization to look like. And we've had success from the first survey that we put out in 2021 to last year's survey. One of the issues on the question was leadership has a tendency not to include us in decisions that are made. Those scores were improved. In addition to that, we were able to roll out a fun day, an end of the year recognition learning day, and a spring fling, and the employees loved it because they were all their ideas. So that coalition that I put together, they were hand selected based on the performance and the organization and feedback from their teammates in the company.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Authority and responsibility, or power and control, which one speaks to you when you're leading a team, and why?
Authority and response. Am I getting this right? Authority and responsibility?
Or power and control?
And I want to start with responsibility because I believe responsibility begins with the individual. And if I understand accountability and responsibility and what it is that I'm being held to, by the time we get to authority, to me, it's a moot point. because when everyone takes care of what they need to take care of, they understand what their role is and they're ready to execute that. Authority is just a matter of, okay, so who has the final say, right? Because it is truly collaborative when everyone takes on self-responsibility, because then we're just putting a puzzle together, or we're putting a pie together at that point. Of course, we respect authority, and I've taught my children to question it so that they won't be misled, but question it with respect.
Inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility are the center of the new model that MTC is taking on. And so how might you see your position as part of both a member of the committee and in your role in HR? How does inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility guide that position?
And I had an opportunity to review not only the job description, but the website, to see if I could, as an outsider, be convinced that that is actually what was going on. And a couple of things that are great, the fact that, we've posted our journey and our acknowledgement of what it is that we want to do. I would say the first thing that I would do is I would post the pictures of the staff and the board, because there's nothing more convincing than a visual display of commitment to equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility than to see what the team looks like, to see what the team is made up of, to see if all of the verbiage that we have on the website matches the actual people that are sitting in the seat. So becoming a part of the team, that would be the first step that I would take. And just to be sure that the EDE interviews are being followed up with exit interviews, because an exit interview is just as valuable as an interview, because that data is going to help us to redirect in the areas that we may have missed, we may be falling short, or we could probably even pull back on. Those are just immediately in that position as HR and payroll manager. Those would be the first steps I would take after review of the company.
Okay, so outside of parameters that are given by the company on what to look for in hiring processes, rapid fire, what are 3 traits you look for that you like to have in building a team?
I'm always looking for that unmotivated passion, that unmotivated drive. Like, if you're having a conversation with me, I can tell in our conversation if it's coming from the gut or if you're talking to me to impress me. So I'm looking for that innate passion, that innate drive that everybody has been identifying in you from the beginning. Some level of dedication and commitment. And that's going to show in your own life, right? How committed are you to the mission and the vision, meaning that how have you contributed to it in the time that you've been here? Something that's tangible. And then probably from there, just approachability, being fun, being approachable. We all have our alter ego diva, but can people actually walk up to you that may have an awesome idea that will catapult the organization leaps and bounds into a different direction? Or are you so unapproachable, Mr. or Miss Diva, that no one would ever come to you to share an idea? To me, that's not only divisive, but it blocks us as far as our growth potential. So those 3 things would be what I immediately would look for.
This is the last question, just because we're short on time. But
Gotcha.
With any of us, like, I think there's sometimes as artists have a difficulty of having work-life balance. It's easy to like continuously put work first, and then that equals to burnout. So what does work-life balance mean to you and for your team that you're leading?
And this actually is really important when we're posting positions, because we want whatever we post to be consistent with what we expect, right? So I'm not going to say Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And then when I hire somebody, I'm asking them to work until 7 weekends and nights. If that's something that I need, then I'm going to put it in the job posting. So the first step is company transparency, right? Us determining what we need and then asking for it and being comfortable with those individuals who are okay with it. I would say number 2 is I have probably within the last 15 years started to say work life life-work balance, because I was living before I was working. So just the switch of that helps me to, in my mind and my team's mind, understand that if you're not happy at home, if things are not square at home, if the baby's not taken care of, if the bills are not paid, I cannot possibly come to work and be productive. So it does mean keeping my thumb on the pulse of every single employee as an HR manager, making sure that their basic hierarchical needs are met, their survival needs are met. They're not worrying about something at work, and because they can't be productive if they are. So for me, that life-work balance means taking care of the employee first so that they can produce at work as they need to.
Perfect. Great episode. Well, thank you for your time today.
Lovely spending time with you.
Yes.
Yes, likewise.
Yes, Mr. Caldwell, can I ask a really quick question?
Sure.
Because I missed the accessibility category. The part that I wanted to ask is what application accommodations do we have in place for our ADA applicants? Because that would be something else that I would jump right on as an individual, wanting to be sure that that was clear. I didn't see it anywhere on the website, so it concerned me a little bit for individuals who require ADA accommodations. What does that application process look like?
And that's exactly why we need you at this organization, because you're able to catch things like that.
I got you. Okay. Touche.
Thank you so much. Lovely spending time with you today.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure. My
Awesome.
pleasure. Have a great one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
It felt
Yep.
great.
That was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do we want to keep starting the same way, or do you like?
Oh, yeah, I'm down for that.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Take it away.
All right, so we're gonna bring her in. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. No complaints. No complaints.
Let me turn on my. About the lighting, it's a little dark right now.
No
Perfect.
worries. It's great to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
So we're gonna jump right in, if that's cool. So first question, what is the most interesting thing about you that we wouldn't find out by looking at your resume?
The most interesting thing about me that you wouldn't know about me without looking at my resume. I would say that one of the more interesting things that you wouldn't see on my resume is that I was always very active in school and church, taking leadership positions in school and in church. I was one of the members of the drama club at school. And I kind of took the position of like vice president at the time, and of the drama club. And I would also say that growing up in church, I was always hosting things. I was always, if somebody needed somebody to speak about anything or to represent the church, I was the first person that they were usually calling, me and my sisters. So I would say that's one thing you would know about me without looking at my resume.
Fabulous. I'll connect to that question. So what's a piece of really interesting theater or exhibition or event that you've been to recently that as a producer, you were like, that's dope, I want to do that or create that?
Recently, I did go to the Weenie Awards, the Owen Dodson Weenie Awards at Howard recently. It was basically honoring theater students. I'm going to be real. I didn't know that I was getting an award. When my professors told me to go, I thought that I was going to help work the event. I was texting my professors asking, do you need me to help with anything? I didn't know that I was getting an award because last year I did go, but I didn't attend. I was an usher. So that was something that was really nice. And I would want to recreate something like that because everybody was dressed up. I didn't dress up because, well, I didn't just like, everybody was dressed up like they're going to the Met Gala, but I was dressed in like business casual because I was expecting to work the event. I didn't know that I was getting an award, but to honor the theater students, I would want to recreate something like a Met Gala night or something like that. Like, and I know that took a lot of work. That's why I was asking if they needed help with anything. I was in like administrator mode, not knowing I was receiving anything. So.
Okay. And real quick, since this, I know from what you've said, you work with people a lot. I know you said you're president. So of your drama, you said your drama club.
Not the president, but the vice president. But I will say that I was also president of my youth organization in church, the local youth organization in church.
Okay.
I was actually president for something.
So my question to you then is, rate your organizational skill. Like, are you organized, or are you a little messy and then you get organized when you need to be, or are you organized all the time? And even like in your like your home office or your dorm desk, is it organized? Or
I would say in organization, I'm an 8. I am not, I can honestly say that over time since becoming an adult, I've had to be more organized. I've never been like super messy, but I always felt like I could be more organized. Like my work desk right now, it's scattered because I have books, I have papers, but I am like kind of doing a big cleanup in my room right now. So I'm working to organize that. So I would say that over time, my organizational skills have definitely gotten better. And I would say even here at Howard, I've had to learn like you kind of have to be more organized than I was previously. But as I've gotten older, I would say that organization is something that I've worked on because I've never been like completely messy or out of place. But it's times where I have confused myself because I had one thing over here when it should have been over there. So that I've worked on over time. I feel like I've definitely improved in organizational skills.
And like being a leader, especially at a young age, like with your church group and at school, how did you receive feedback? There's always someone that has an opinion, and being a producer, like you're the person that I'm going to go to. So how do you deal with feedback?
I will say that my church, for the most part, was supportive. However, there was one particular time where, because I was 14, and at the time I didn't understand necessarily how to handle it. So an adult did step in for me, but somebody got a little, I want to say a little feisty with me because they felt like I was doing something wrong. But this was like, at the time, this was my first year being in a leadership position. So she felt like I wasn't, she felt like I didn't remind people enough about a certain event that was taking place. And at the time I was, like I said, I was 14. I didn't know how to get the word out. Like I didn't know how to market at the time with my church. Like I wasn't going out and telling church members certain things because I was still learning. But an adult did step in for me and say like, listen, like, and she spoke and she took me to the side later on and said like, this is your organization. Don't let anybody tell you how to run it. And she spoke to the person that was like getting a little feisty with me and said like, listen, she's new, she's trying. So you have to give her a chance. Because that was new to me.
So in terms of working with people, you'll, as a producer, be producing a lot of work. A lot of new work is what we tend to focus on. And so in thinking about new work, can you talk about a time that you contributed ideas towards an artistic process and what ideas you contributed towards that process?
An idea I contributed to an artistic process. Let me think. When I went to my first college, because I'm a transfer student, when I went to my first college, my professor, she she was writing a play. And she was basically, it was a play about people of color, Black people. And at the time, Trump was president. And my contribution to that was me basically telling my experience as a Black woman. And she kind of wrote it inside of the play that she was writing, because it was a fun play to work on, because it was basically talking about like how people of color and Black people, sometimes we bump heads, not realizing that we should be working together. And but also that at the same time with Trump, it's like we're fighting each other while Trump basically disrespects all of us, but yet we have more like animosity towards each other. And that she wrote, when I was talking about my experience as a Black woman, she wrote my experience like in the play, and I was an actor in that play, in that part of the play. So when she wrote my experience down, I looked at it, I was like, this is pretty much what I said. Because she wanted ideas from people about our experience, because she's a woman of color, but she's not Black. And so she wanted experiences from different people about their experiences as Black people, not just people of color. And so when she wrote my experience inside of that play, and it was actually a really fun show.
Because we're short on time, this is the last question coming at you. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Dale. I'm sorry. I just want to let her know that this was the last question.
Okay. So have you had to build a team yourself for a project that you were part of or the lead in, where you actually had to hand pick, okay, I want you to do, lighting, I want you to do painting, or whatever whatever the project was. It didn't necessarily have to be an artistic project, but did you ever have to build the team?
Yes. Recently, I produced my own panel discussion, and I had 2 people on my team altogether. Excuse me. But I had 2 people on my team. It was supposed to be 3, but it ended up being 2. I just had to work with what I had, and both of my team members, they were very reliable, very responsible. And particularly my marketing coordinator, she definitely did like a lot of the work as far as marketing, creating the social media pages to get the word out, creating the graphics for the flyers. And I had a marketing coordinator and a production assistant. And I'm sorry, I also had 2 musicians. And so I handpicked them myself. And they all did a great job. If there were any issues, they came to me, and we worked to fix them. Like when I thought that I would have 3 people on my team, my professors basically said, like, listen, if you can't get the 3rd person, you have to step in and do that part. So that's what ended up happening.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for your time.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure to talk to you all as well.
All right.
All right. See ya.
See you later. Bye.
So I guess now it's Jaadyn. Is that her name?
Mhm.
Okay.
But is she in the waiting room right now?
I just see us.
I don't see her. Yeah.
I just see us.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Raven stuff back there.
Oh yeah.
I was looking, I was like, that's not my team.
Oh, no,
I'm
wait.
an Eagles fan.
Oh, you Eagles.
So.
Okay, all right. You're still a bird,
Right, that part. So wait, Raymond, when did you teach at Howard?
Oh Lord, how many years ago was that now? 2007, 8 to 2014.
Your name sounds familiar. That's why I'm like, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, I was there when Nicole Brewer was there.
Yeah. Okay.
And Otis was there.
Okay, so I was at Howard with Nicole. Like we were students together. Yeah.
You were part of that class.
Yeah. So around that time. So all those people, like Amber mom was like there at that time. And like,
Oh, yeah. I think Amber had just graduated the year or 2 years or 3 years, and then I came to join faculty. She came
okay.
back and the students one day.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do
Yeah.
miss it around there.
Yeah, man. I
It
haven't
just-
been on that campus since 2015. So
Oh,
it's
no,
been
literally when I tell you, not much has changed.
Yeah.
At least within fine arts. Honey,
Right.
I walk in there and it's like a time warp.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But they're supposed to be getting a new building, so
Really? Oh, that's impressive.
that's
Yeah,
the word on the street. That's
that's amazing.
because they need it,
Yeah, they do, It's sad to have a room that rains and call it the rain room. So, I mean,
I literally, the first day I started teaching, I was like, I don't know why they call it the rain room. And they're like, Caldwell, because it rains in there. What in the hell?
craziness. I tell people about that. And they're like, what? I'm like, it's a thing, how it is an experience.
Baby.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
Yes.
I feel like, how long do we wait? Do we wait for forever?
Oh
Not
no.
saying, I mean, she's still early, right? I mean, I think we're a little early. Oh, there
Oh,
she
that's
is.
it. See? Asking you.
Perfect.
See,
Okay,
bam.
let her in.
Huh.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning. How are
morning.
you today?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Sun is
Good.
up and so am I.
Glad to hear that.
So we're going to jump right in to
Yes.
this. It's a question I've asked everyone this morning. What is something about you that we wouldn't learn by looking at your resume?
Mm. I feel like the most standout characteristic of myself that isn't directly listed on my resume, um, is my ability to be empathetic when it comes to the work environment. I think in certain circumstances where, it's like crunch time, I feel as though my biggest trait that typically comes out when we're at the neck of things and, we're really into the hustle and bustle of putting together productions or whatever project that I'm typically working on and being able to connect with my fellow coworkers and just like, reaching out to understand what everybody needs in this time of just getting everything together, but really touching on just personal things that somebody may need for their mental health or related to just something physical that they need to be completed or done would definitely be something that stands out for me that wouldn't typically be shown on paper necessarily.
So we're hiring a digital content creator. Who's a digital content or content creator that you're following that you really like? And what specifically about their content is driving you to their space?
Oh, yes. So right now, I actually follow this couple named Ash and Court. They're a queer couple that comes from Dallas, Texas. And they basically have this content creation, but they also have a jewelry company. Funny enough, I'm actually wearing one of their pieces right now. And what they do, they've been together for about 10 years, I would say. And I think the most important thing about them is how they represent themselves. Not only are they their business partners, but they're also couples, and they also, share, relationship advice. They share spiritual advice. They're very spiritually inclined. And just to kind of have that representation as Black queer individuals is something that really stands out to me. And I think the way that they produce their content is that they make it known that they're not trying to mimic anybody else. And I think that's the strongest thing for me, because I personally, when I produce my work, I am never trying to fit within a box. I'm always trying to get out of a box, or get out of a norm. I'm very into unorthodox presentations of work. So that is something that really, really stands out to me in the way that they produce their work.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay, so how important is meeting deadlines to you, and do you hold yourself to that standard? Because if you have multiple projects and they have to be presented at a certain deadline, how important is that to you? And do you hold yourself to that standard and your team if you have to delegate things that you can't necessarily do?
Yes, most definitely. I feel like deadlines are extremely important, not only to myself, but also to my coworkers, because when there are other people that are having expectations at a certain time, it's very important to get back to people, circle back to people, give them updates, and just let them stay in the loop rather than if there's something that's coming up where I'm not able to meet a deadline or I have a problem that I can't or that I should communicate it. When it comes to deadlines for my teams, I think it's extremely important to just be 10 steps ahead of the timeline of what you're trying to give people so that they have an adequate amount of time as well to get the things that they need to do done in an effective manner, while also not bringing an anxious energy into the workspace of having, short turnaround times for what is expected for me and my coworkers. So I definitely feel as though deadlines are the most important thing to me in working with multiple projects at a time.
Okay,
You said
awesome.
that you like to work in like out of the box in unorthodox ways.
Yes.
So what are you hoping to gain from this process and how do you want to grow?
Mhm. Well, specifically looking at the job description as I was reviewing just what this company is looking for when it comes to a digital producer, I definitely look to bring a sense of revitalization to this company in the way that we share the stories, we share the projects, we share the shows that would be produced within this company. I feel it's extremely important to have a sense of newness that's coming into the company and just within the actual production aspect of putting on these shows. So I definitely look to bring in a sense of just fire and energy and just being a catalyst for everybody within the space that I'm working in.
Looking at the organization and the content that we're already developing, what is one space that you would want to see improvement in?
Mhm. Well, after having a brief understanding of what you guys have previously produced, I think one thing that stuck out to me is just the general rollout of how certain projects are being produced. I think that the way that I have a mindset of having the visuals tie into the actual production that we're trying to produce and just anticipating people that are coming into our productions, I think that that could definitely be amped up by 10-folds actually. I think when it comes to marketing and just the general creative direction of the marketing aspect of what you guys are trying to produce, that's something that I definitely paid attention to that I feel like we could really revamp and just give new life to, honestly.
And this might be a little tricky here, but if you have a project that you have to create and provide guidance on, but you have budget limitations, how would you not sacrifice quality
Mhm.
to meet the budget? And if it is an issue, express that to whoever is your manager or boss. Let them know, like, you'll find this a lot. You have people with what I call a champagne dreams, beer budget.
Yes.
You know, how would you handle that without jeopardizing quality?
Mhm. It's so funny that you give me that statement because in my head, automatically, every time when I think about creating a team and when we have a project that we want to do, when it comes from the source of our ideas, I always tell people to think big and then we can scale back. I think having an understanding of alternatives that mimic what we originally had as an idea is a great way to look at being able to stay within the budget of a project that we're trying to produce. Having people on your team as well that are really good at researching alternatives and being able to line up everything that what we wanted to do with what is in our reality is a really important tool that I would want to, give out within my team and just have everybody understand that we have a plan A, but plan B is just as solid. So that is the way that, I would go about that most definitely.
Awesome.
The relationships that we have with our teams are important in our coworkers. So what are three let's see, 3 things that stand out for you, like not only as a leader, but a teammate.
Mhm. Having a strong sense of community and cooperation is extremely important for me. While I know that everybody does not have the same mindsets or, the way that we tackle goals, I think having an understanding of each other and our strong points is very important to have. Additionally, I would definitely say having the characteristics of just being forward thinking. As I said before, thinking 10 steps ahead of a project is extremely important in getting things done. Because when you're 10 steps ahead, you start to see that there are so many other things that start to come along when you feel like you've already knocked 3 things off of your to-do list and realizing that 3 more came ahead. So when you're ahead of the game, it doesn't feel like there's constantly something just coming up. And it's just like, okay, I can tackle this because I already dealt with this and I'm already in this state of being able to get to the next thing and taking that off of my list. So I definitely would say cooperation. I would call it attentiveness, what I just stated. And then definitely just being a very active listener as well. I feel like a lot of times in a business perspective, a lot of times leaders aren't really actively listening, they're just delegating. And I think having that initiative of being an active listener, then delegating is the best way to go about a project, most definitely.
And just so you're aware, Raymond will have the last question because we're short on time.
The field is ever evolving, and there are a lot of skill sets that you already bring to this position. What professional development opportunities do you need in terms of your own success in this field and in this position?
Most of, I feel when it comes to my advancement of, the craft that I already have and honing in on the skill sets that I already have, I think having the opportunity of mentorship is the most forward thinking, opportunity that I would be able to receive. I think having someone who understands that I already have this engulfing passion for being within this production realm and just being able to build on that and give me basically, secrets that I wouldn't, know off the, strength of me just going into a position and just, if I can be informal, just putting me on game and just really understanding what it is to be the greatest version of myself in this position.
Amazing.
Perfect answer. That was great.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming.
It's great.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a great one.
Thank you.
You
You
as
too.
well.
Yes. Enjoy your day.
Thank you as well.
Bye.
That was great.
Oh, great. Dope. So we send the video off to somebody who's how does that work?
But she recorded. It should be whoever she hit
Yeah.
record, so it should go off to the cloud. And they
Yeah.
should be able to pull it down.
Dope, and they'll be able to pull it down. Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's just stop it real quick. I'm stopping.